Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday we looked at a number of good things where we went ahead and we created all these forms, and this was really nice. Okay, we created all these forms. We made them to be to have validations. So we had a lot of nice things. So in today's video, we are going to continue from there. Today we are going to add databases, we are going to add Prisma, and we have more nice things we are going to work on. The first thing I'm just going to work on quickly is that I noticed that these cards are so big. Maybe we just make, instead of making them 2, we are going to make them 3. Okay, we are going to make them 3 so that there's not too much scrolling to reach on something. And this is really easy by just going into where they are located, into the inventory, and then in this page here. And you can see in this page we have this fixed header, and that fixed header is this one. And then we also have this loop that is mapping through all these option cards, which are these cards. And then I'm just going to simply, we have grid core 1, so on small screen it is 1 column, and then on big screen there are 2 columns. So I'm just going to change this to 3 columns, just like that. And when I add just 3, this one changes to they change to 3, which is really nice. Okay, and you can just go ahead and maybe you say MD, so you can just put for MD grid columns maybe 2. Okay, yeah, just like that. So we can just have that. So now another thing I'm just going to go ahead is to slightly reduce on these icons, the fact that we have made them to, I'm just going to slightly reduce on that icon, and the icon is having width 36. Okay, if I try to remove, let me just look at let me try to see something else in 30. There is 32. Let me look at 32. Yeah, so I think 32 is more better. Okay, so another thing I'm just going to work on is adding in some appropriate icons. Instead of just having random icons, I'm just going to add in appropriate icons. Let's just open Lucid. So just going to say Lucid icons. Okay, so we have, for instance, for the items, for the items we can add something for the items. Okay, you need for instance, let's try layout. Okay, items, we could add for the items maybe this grid. I don't know if we have used that icon anywhere on the sidebar. Not yet. We can just put these ones, the grid items. So this one I'm just going to change to this layout grid here. So this one is layout grid. Let me just add that as the icon. So just go back to the, I'm just going to go back to up here. on the page. And then where we have these option cards, we have this. I'm just going to say layout grid. Okay, and this is going to be to update for the items. Okay, so the items, we can use these boxes to represent the items. Okay, then we have categories. I feel like for the categories, this box like that can work. Let me see. Maybe we use this one, layout panel. Okay, I'm just going to use this one. It is layout panel top. So just go and see boxes. We might use them anywhere else. I'm just going to say layout panel top. Okay, since these ones are items, so this one shows a bar and then it has the items on it. So this is like categorizing the items. So this one, I feel like it is okay. Then we have brands. I don't know what we can put on the brand. For the brands, we can add what can we use for the brands? We can use this Slack logo. I feel like it can represent the brands. Okay, or we could just use this hexagon, but we can just add this Slack. Let me just add this Slack for now. Okay, next warehouse. Yeah, so there is this warehouse itself. Warehouse is there. So here we can just put warehouse. Okay, next is units. So actually on the units is where we could use boxes. Warehouse, it did not get warehouse from it got from this warehouse here. Let's just put the warehouse from Lucid. Warehouse. Okay, it's from Lucid. Okay, and then we have units. I think here we can try boxes. Okay, and then we have inventory adjustments. Let me see this one, warehouse. Okay, warehouse is okay, and then we have units. Okay, and here we could use a weighing scale or something. Let me see, scale. Yeah, we just say use this scale. Instead, on the units, let's use a scale. Okay, and then we have adjustment. Basically, I need like where I have something like to do is minus. There is here where I have plus or minus. Can use that diff. It seems to be just use that diff. Just here use diff, and we can also go ahead and remove all these ones we have not used, the scroll text, and okay, all these ones, just remove them. Okay, nice. Even this react and even link, they are not being used. Okay, this makes your app faster. So now we have all the icons worked on, and this looks now more nice. We are not having random things. We are having random things. We are having list the stuff. Now we could just also add some description that matches these ones. Okay, we could just add these this stuff here, the description. Okay, so I will add the descriptions of the screen, but you can just go ahead and add the descriptions. But when I finish, I will just go and try to look for the descriptions, and I will put them. But so far the app looks extremely nice. Okay, so now next, there's one thing I want to work on just before we add into the databases, is on the inventory adjustment. So if you go on inventory adjustment, as you can see, I've used plus or minus. In inventory adjustment, someone can add a new stock or he can transfer stock. Okay, so here on this, when you click on new adjustment, it takes you to this new adjustment, and for now we have only transferring the stock. Okay, we'll have to have someone can transfer stock from the main, like this one. Okay, and also we have to add, someone should be able to select where you want transfer stock from. Okay, someone has transfer stock from, and we are going to add the second one where someone can also add stock. Okay, you can transfer stock, or you can actually you can also, so I'm just going to add two tabs. Okay, I will add two tabs, one for adding the stock, another one for transferring the stock. Okay, so to be able to do that, the first thing I'm just going to do, I will go to adjustments, new, in this page here, to have all these nice things here. So instead, what I'm just going to do is that in this page, okay, so in this page where I have this form, I'm just going to transfer to this, or this one, into a component. Okay, I will transfer all this into a component. I can first copy this, Ctrl C, and let me just go to, and this one is for transferring stock, so I'm just going to say in components, inside dashboard, I'm just going to add a new file. I'm just going to say this one is transfer stock, transfer transfer inventory form. Okay, transfer inventory form JSX, and paste all this here. Okay, so this everything we have here is for the transfer form. Okay, so one thing that I'm just going to remain is this header here. Okay, so this header I want it to remain this side, so I'm just going to remove this. Okay, I'm just going to remove this from here. Just leave only the form, just like that. And I will also remove this from the div. Okay, I'm just going to leave the form alone, just like that, and I will change only that. Okay, I can remove this, and let me just go ahead you can remove also these icons. Make sure you are removing unnecessary code that you are not using. Okay, remove unnecessary code that you are not using. So let me go ahead and let me just go ahead up here in this adjustments, new page. Okay, so in this one I'm just going to remain with new adjustments. That is one thing, and I'm just going to remove all these things here. Just remove all these things here. Okay, remove all these. So far what I just want to remain with is it will be the form header. Okay, and then here I can add just a second on this inventory what we added, just a second, as dashboard inventory transfer inventory. So this one I'm just going to change this one to transfer inventory form. Okay, this is for transferring the inventory. I'll just go here in adjustments where there is this form here. I'm just going to add this. I'm just going to add this and import it like this. So if you go back, you should have, let me first also remove I can remove this use form. We are going to use state in a second. You can remove all these other necessary things. Okay, so I have now these inputs. Remove these inputs, remove all these ones. Okay, so now if I check again, handle submit is not defined. Okay, so you see we have exactly the same thing, on it. Now this one is coming from a component. Okay, so the first thing I'm just going to do, I will create another form, but before that let me just put two tabs here on top. So I'm just going to head to Afrobyte, and I'm just going to search here for tabs. So you can search for tabs. So I want two tabs, one for creating stock, for creating a new inventory, another one is for transferring the stock. So just click on tabs. So I need some tabs. Okay, the ones I need, I will need, I think, like these ones. Let me just scroll down and I see. Okay, I will need these ones which has icons. Okay, So I'll just use the ones that actually have icons, these ones here. So you can just go ahead, can copy this. Okay, copy this and bring it. So before here, these forms here, before this form, I'm just going to add these tabs, just like that. So let's go ahead and remove the tabs that we do not want. Okay, so just only need to remain with only 2 tabs. And so just have this first li tag, and then the second one, and then all others, remove them. And let me check the one which is active, the second one. So just go ahead and remove all the remaining one. Remove this, just like that. Remove the next one. Remove this one. So I'm just removing all these ones. So I have now 2. Okay, I have 2. Now even this other one, we have the active one and then this normal one. Okay, that's great. So the first thing I will do is I will change this href into a button. I don't want them to be links, I need them to be buttons. So just change this into a button. Okay, just like that. And even this one, change it into a button. Okay, that's great. Just like that. Okay, another thing I'm just going to do is remove the SVG. So these ones we are going to remove SVG, but before that we want to see it. You can just go there and I see, okay, you can see the tabs here. So I need to make sure they follow this here. Okay, so I have to put them, if you look at this, I need them to be in the same. Let me just look at the form. Okay, just let me look at the form. I want to see the. Okay, so I want to put them in. So you can see the form has this max width. Okay, so I will just have to give them also this div, the max width, so that they are in the same. They are in the same. So just copy this. I'm just going to change some things. Just copy that and then go to the page. So apart from this header, I'm just going to create a div where I'm going to put these ones. Actually, just add on to this. I'm just going to add on this. Okay, the first thing, I'm just going to remove some things where we have this things concerning with the border. So remove this border, remove with this dark, remove that. Okay, even this BG. Okay, this rounded shadow, remove. Okay, border. Okay, I just let's see how it looks right now. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the, I don't know if they should be in the white background. Then let's remove, first of all, let's first reduce the padding. The padding is so much. So we have here padding of 4, then we have this SM padding 8. For now, let me just go with the padding of 4. Okay, yep, so that looks much better. And then shadow rounded, I think that was a nice one. Shadow, just add shadow and rounded. Okay, let's see. Yeah, to match this down one. What should we remove? I feel like this padding, let me just make this one to be px, px4, and py. I also want to make it 2. Let me see. Okay. So I don't know if this background is okay. BG white, let me first remove it. And just leave it. Let's just leave the background. Okay, let's just leave the background just like that. So that is one thing. So after this, this looks great. Okay, this looks great. Okay, it looks great. We can just mark this one margin 4 to add some more space a little bit. Okay, so this is much better. Okay, so now what we just need to do is first of all add the appropriate titles and icons. Okay, we have to add the appropriate title and icons. So the first one is going to be add stock. So if I just go back to this adjustment inside here, is going to be add stock, and I think we are going to make it to have also the icon. These buttons we can just go ahead and put them in a div, in a map, in an array, and then we map through them. Yeah, and so that in future this we can easily use it anywhere else where we need the tabs. Yep, so I'm just going to come here, okay, and say const tabs is equal to, and let's just make an array here, and we have here the title. The tab has a title, for instance add stock. Okay, then it has the icon. Okay, it has the icon. We're just going to find the icon in a second, and then yeah, just like this. For instance, for adding stock, I need something to like stock Okay, so this is what we have. Let me first try to look at these things just like manually to see if I can find any icon suitable for like adding something. And we could have just used the plus and minus, the plus icon. Okay, we could just have the plus icon. Okay, there is this plus icon, just going to use that. So just use the plus, is called plus add stock. I'm just going to say plus. Okay, just add this, and then this one I'm just going to use minus. If you just go here, there must be minus. Yep, there is minus. Okay, that is great. So now we can just come here. Okay, and anything to do with dark, you can remove this. Over text, blah blah, all this. So I'm just going to leave the last one, this one here, so that we use it in the active state. This one is the active state button, and this one is the non-active. So the first thing I'm just going to do is mapping through them. So just going to add this down here. So I'm just going to cut this. Okay, and I'll just say to map into tabs dot map, and then inside I will have a single tab with its index, and we just go ahead and let's return. Okay, I'm returning this. So wherever there is this SVG, we are going to put the icon, and I'm just going to first come in and say const icon is equal to tab dot icon. Okay, and here let's add a key. So just say key is equal to I. Okay, and then go inside here where there is this SVG. Just simply copy its code here, this one, and I'm just going to remove it. I'll just simply replace it with the icon, and let's give it some class names. Class name, just like this, and this one of dark, you can remove all these ones saying dark, or you could just leave them. It doesn't matter, you can just leave them, or but I just want to make the code look a little bit not crazy. Just you can leave them or you can remove them, it doesn't matter. Then this href, remove the href. This is a button, and for this class, wherever we have class, let's replace it with class name. It is Control F to find that, and then Control H to replace class name. Okay, so far we have this. Where there is profile, I'm just going to say tab dot title. Okay, so that is great. We have the 2 tabs. Now we should just have 3 tabs, just like this. They are all not active. Okay, we have the one for adding stock, and then here remove stock. Let me just go up here and say transfer stock. Okay, okay, so you can see here we have this. Now I have to work onto this to know which one is active. Okay, we have to work to know which one is active. So we're going to have 2 forms. We have this form for the transfer stock, so that is a transfer stock form. Okay, and this other one is for, so I'm just going to create another form, and its purpose is going to be for this one. We're just going to use it in a second. I'm just going to make another form here. So let me just go and make another form for adding stock. So just go to this transfer stock, copy everything the way it is there, and just come here and say add inventory form dot jsx, and then paste this. Okay, and first thing I'm just going to change this to add inventory form. Okay, okay, so now on the form, what do we want to do? So first of all, we want to say have text, and this one will be a number. Enter the amount of stock to add. So here is to add. Okay, and then this one is going to be add stock quantity. You can call this one add stock. Okay, and then we want to select, so this is receiving, not receiving brand. Okay, even this one we just change it in a second. This one should be, yeah, it is going to be receiving warehouse. So here it's not just only the branch, it can be a warehouse, so it's going to be receiving warehouse. I'm going to say receiving warehouse ID. Select the warehouse that will receive the stock. Okay, and then of course we have to add this the notes. Okay, you can just call them now. These ones also, they will be notes. Okay, and here this one is going to be add stock. Okay, you can just leave it as an adjustment, and I'm just going to bring this form inside the adjustment. So just add here another form, which is add inventory stock. Add inventory form. Let's see it down. It should be popping up down here. Okay, so we have this, enter the amount of stock. I think just say enter quantity instead of amount. We could say enter amount here, add. So instead say enter amount of stock, enter quantity, quick fix. Okay, enter quantity of stock to add, and even this one we can change this word to do that. Okay, where is it? Enter a quantity of stock to transfer. Okay. so far we have these two. One is to add stock, and you can add, let's say 400, and then you can select here the branches and the main. I'm just going to go to the add stock, and this is not necessarily only to the branches. You can have also all of them. Here will be fetching all of them. So this one is going to be, like, for instance, can be main A, and main B. You know, we can have all these branches represented just like that. So here we can select any, you can select the any branch or any warehouse, and you transfer or you add the stock there direct from the supplier. And then also on this the stock to transfer, now you can transfer stock from, also we are going so to add here from. So you say here we're going to say that we receive. Okay, so here we have this which we receive, but we also want to give the one that is going to give. Okay, so in this transfer stock, let's just go back, and I want to add the one which is going to receive. So we have here the quantity. We are selecting the one that is going to receive. So I'm just going to select add this down here. Okay, so you're just going to see the giving what? The giving, maybe here I'm just going to say giving, okay, the giving warehouse ID, so this one is going to be the one that is going to give. So select the warehouse that we give the stock. So this is going to, which one is going to give the stock? Okay, then we have another one which is going to receive the stock. So you can just call this one receiving branch, or it can even receiving warehouse. So you could just say here receiving warehouse ID. Okay, and then select the warehouse here that we receive the stock. Okay, so that is great. And then we have also the description. Everything is cool. Okay, so the only thing I'm just going to, we can just of course leave these ones just like this. So this one is going to have one more thing here. Okay, we have this, the quantity, and I could just go this one, make it full to make the form look much better. This text input, I can make it full by removing this, and this, it will just go up to this side, and then insert here we have these two, and the form looks much better that way. Okay, so the forms, they just go ahead and make sure that we have to make sure that these two forms, they are submitting to respective endpoints. So right now, if you check where they're submitting the data, let's see, this one is they're all giving to adjustments. Okay, so we have to change that. So in the API, I'm just going to go back to the API adjustments. So in the API adjustments, we can just put one more folder. Okay, we can put the one that says add, and then inside another we can add another folder which says transfer. Okay, and then I'll just copy this route, paste it in the transfer, and also paste it in the add. Okay, let's start with the adding. So in the add, if you go to add, we have how many things. So what are we sending there? We are sending the add stock quantity. So just receive this. Can first close this, go to add. So we are getting the add stock quantity. The second one is receiving warehouse ID. okay, receiving warehouse ID and the notes. Okay, and we can just add these ones here. Okay, and everything remains the way it is. Adjustment is that blah blah. Okay, now we just go to the same thing, to the transfer. So I can close this. Let's go to this one which says now route. I don't know where this one comes from, the transfer, and I'm just going to go to the transfer. Just close these other ones, all these. I want the transfer. So the transfer, what do we have? We have the transfer stock quantity. So just get transfer stock quantity in the route. Make sure you're in this route. So we have the transfer stock quantity, then we have receiving. Let's see, we have the giving warehouse. Okay, just grab this giving. Okay, giving warehouse, and then we also have the receiving warehouse. Okay, receiving warehouse, and then the notes. Okay, so you can just add this here. Just you can just add these ones here, just like so. Okay, so here our menu is everything. Okay, so we have these two forms and they are submitting data. Let's just change the forms. So this one is sending to transfer form. This data is being sent to here, base URL adjustments, and then we have transfer. Okay, we have the transfer here, and then for the other one, even it is, we have the transfer and we have the add. So this one is sending to the add. Where is the add? So adjustments add. Okay, so this is now sending the data respectively, and let's confirm we have all these forms. Like you have to fill in this. Okay, yep, so this is still working. Let's work on the tab to hide and show them which one is going to be active and which one is not. Okay, so I'm just going to close this, go back to the page, not this page. I'm just going to close. So I'm just going to scroll up to adjustments, and then here on this new. Okay, so I'm just going to work on these tabs. Let me first create the state. So I'm just down here, const displayed form. So const displayed form, displayed. Okay, so I think we just say active form instead, because they will be, all of them are there, but one show one at a time. So you could just say active form or displayed form. Actually, any of them can work. Active form, then here set active form, and then here is going to be use state, and we can start the active form. We can start with the add. So we have these, we have the two ones, the one of add and the another one for transfer. Okay, yeah, the one for add and the one for transfer. So we can just go into these tabs and we give them the form. So like this one, the form is add, and then this one, the form is transfer. So we just give them the form they are going to be helping to display. Okay, so now we can add a function. Okay, so by default these forms they will be showing which one is showing. You can just come here and we hide them. We just say if the active form, so you say here active form, if the active form is equal to add, if this is true, then you only show the add inventory form. So you only put this one here. Else you can just go and show this one here. And I don't think these brackets are necessary. These ones you can just go ahead and remove them, and even these ones. Okay, just like that. So if you just do this, one form is going to be shown at a time. Okay, so one form is going to be shown at a time. So you see one has disappeared, and we have the one for the add stock. Okay, we have the one for the add stock, it is being shown right now. Okay, so we can now use these buttons. Okay, so you can just go ahead and add on click on the button, on click. Okay, on click, and on click we just want to change the set active form to, so set active form to tab.form, just like that. So what is that? Just here is an arrow function. So right now we have these tabs. Now they are going to work. Their purpose is to set the active form to tab.form. So if right now I have these, this is the add form. If I add the transfer, you can see this changes to transfer. If I add the add, this changes to the add, just like that. So you can see now we are able to switch between the forms. The only thing now we have to work on is working and showing the one which is active at a time. Okay, so we're just going to make an if statement also, and it is going to be onto these classes. Okay, it's going to be onto these classes. So I'm just going to cut these classes just like that, and I'm just going to add this and add also that, and I'm just going to say if. Okay, so we have to make an if statement there. If the active form, okay, if the active form is equal to, so if the active form is equal to, active form is equal to tab, I think, dot form. If this is true, okay, if the active form, the active form is equal to tab dot this, if this is true, then we can show some stuff. Okay, we can just say if this is true, Let me see if I can add this, and then I can add that, and then can I add the edits? Just like that. Let me first try to put some stuff here. Okay, and then let me just go and add for this class the one that are here. All these ones. I don't know if that one is going to work. Okay, so far this one is unlined, and for that reason I do not need this second one. This one. Okay, so now if the active form is equal to tab.form, that means that this one is active, that form is active, and then we apply the styles. Else we apply the other styles, the one for the non-active form. That's why I'm using this else, and this should be now working properly. So yeah, so you can see here we are on add stock form. Someone can add the stock. Okay, it is working properly, and if you want to transfer stock, you can just click on transfer stock, and then is on this other form. Okay, so now we have this really working properly. This is great. Okay, this is great. We can add or remove stock. Okay, so now let's go now to start working onto our database, setting up things. Okay, and in this segment now we are going to start working on Prisma. So what we want is, if someone comes to the categories, okay, and is adding a new category, he should be able to add the category into the database, the actual database. So in this we are going to use a combination of two things. A database, we are going to use MongoDB, and then for the queries, to run all our queries, we are going to use Prisma ORM. Okay, so let's start with Prisma. So in the documentation that is in the description, you will find this you will find this guide, and you can get this, what you're going to do from this place. So the first thing, let's go ahead and install Prisma by running npm Prisma, just like that. So I'm just going to open the terminal here, a second one, and I'm just going to run Prisma. So here I'm just going to say npm install Prisma, and then save dev. Just run that. Okay, so while Prisma is installing, I can also go to their documentation, Prisma. Okay, you can always follow from their documentation. And those who don't know what Prisma is, first of all, you can watch a full guide on how to do on my YouTube channel. There is where I have a full guide on how to perform a CRUD using Prisma, and if you go there, let me just pop there in a second. Actually, just okay. I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to search for myself, and just simply go here. Okay, and you want to this, I'm just going to
Welcome.
this one. If you just go on the playlists, okay, there is one playlist that is for CRUD, and you can see this where we use the Prisma. Okay, this one it has gone off. There is where we have this playlist. Okay, and this is the we are doing using Prisma, and this is a series where we are building a contact management system, and you can just go ahead and view, and you can learn a lot from this. Okay, so going back to our stuff, Prisma has installed. Okay, and this step of installing, you could have also gotten it from the documentation. Okay, you can see here they are installing Prisma. You can see here, for us you're not using TypeScript, those who are using TypeScript, you can first install here TypeScript, but we are not using TypeScript, so I'm just going to install simply Prisma, and then you can now start this. Okay, in it is for the steps here. Let's install also the Prisma client. Okay, just go ahead and copy this, npm install Prisma client. Okay, you can install Prisma client. So the Prisma client is actually the one which gives us ability to execute queries. Okay, so next will be initiating Prisma. Okay, and since we are using MongoDB, we just use this npx Prisma init data source provider, we pass MongoDB. Okay, so the installation is going on. Okay, as I've said, if it is your first time to use Prisma, I will try my level best to explain all the queries, but you can still also go and watch that video and see. You can just go ahead and watch that video and see and you see how we did all these things. We used Cloudinary for image uploads. We have here the fetching, we have deleting, you know, all the CRUD functionalities, we did them into this video. We'll also leave the link to this playlist in the description. Let's check. Okay, it has also finished installing. Okay, that is great. So just go ahead and run this npx Prisma init, and then we initialize MongoDB. Okay, so just go ahead and run this, and this is going to create some folders. Okay, let me just minimize this up, and the components and the libs, everything, and let's see what they are saying here. So you can see here they're saying your Prisma schema was created at Prisma then schema. You can now open blah blah. Then here one, you already have a git ignore file. Don't forget to add the .env in it. Okay, not commit a private information. By the way, you can confirm that the .env is there to be for sure, and you can see the .env is not there. Okay, so just go down here where they have .env .local. I think this will add all the local environment files, like the .env and the .local, but to be for sure, you can just go and say .env alone. Okay, so that this, and you should have your this .env, it should be at the point where it is grayed out somehow. Okay, you need to make sure it is added here. Okay, so that you don't push it to the production. Okay, another thing is Next step is set the database URL in the .env file to point to your existing database. If your database has no tables yet, read this blah blah. Okay, so the guide tell you define models and then run Prisma generate to generate the Prisma client. You can then start querying your database. Okay, so they give you all that description, which is nice. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'll list model 1. For instance, let's start with, so how do you model? For instance, let's start with the category, is the simple one here. For instance, the category, it has a title and it has a description. So the title is a string and the description is also a string, and they are all required. Okay, so if you want to create this in Prisma, the schema looks something like this when you're just going to model. So first of all, everything we are having that has a CRUD, all these ones you are seeing here that have CRUD, these ones are going to be model. They are called models. So we have a category model, we have a brand model, we have a unit model, we have a warehouse model, inventory this model. We have all these ones as models. So let's just look at, for instance, a category model. A category model will have, for instance, it has a name and we named it title. So I'm just going to move this to title, just like that. And then it has a description. And you can see when something is going to be optional, for instance here, you see you put this question mark, and this one means that it can be optional. Okay, and that's how you define a schema. You just simply have this, and then we have the ID. ID is going to be of type int, and that's why TypeScript we have to Prisma is a TypeScript first, or it is type safe. So that means we have to use TypeScript in it. That means if you are saving the ID, you have to tell it the type. For instance, it is an integer, and then you can go ahead and then this this one, the ID that is here, we might need to actually replace this ID. We have to map it to let me just in a second, let me just get from some other, I have here this other one. I'm just going to duplicate. I think I still have it here. Let me just move up a second. Okay, so all our IDs have to be this type. The IDs in MongoDB, they are not of types integer, they are all of type string. So wherever we have the ID, we replace it with this. So the ID is type string. When you create from MongoDB, MongoDB will generate the IDs by itself. That's why we say here that they are type of string, and this ID is mapped to be, is going to be default. That means it's going to be automatically generated. That's why you have auto. And then at map means that it is not going to be generated by Prisma, but it's going to be generated by the in this case is going to be generated by MongoDB, and we are mapping with this underscore ID, because MongoDB's IDs, they are saved under this underscore ID. Okay, and this is what we only need for the start. I'm just going to copy this simple one for the category, and then just minimize all these, go into Prisma, and then there is this schema. Okay, so right now we don't have any schemas. Simply just go down here and add it, just like this, model category, and then you have this at default auto at map, and just make sure you have the ID mapped like this. And then for the title, it's just a string, and then we have the description. Now when you put this question mark, means that it is not required. Okay, and that's what you need. And the next one is getting this database URL. So I'm just going to go to my MV file here. You can see Prisma added some notes. This was inserted by Prisma init, blah 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 blah. You can go ahead and read all that. Okay, you can just go ahead and add all these ones. I'm just going to remove them actually. So I'm just going to remove them just like so. Yeah, just like this, and I have this database URL. So what we need is to get our we need to get our connection string from MongoDB. So the next thing I'm just going to do is to go to MongoDB. So MongoDB Atlas. Okay, MongoDB Atlas. You can just type in MongoDB Atlas. And I'm just going to go to here and I can log in. If you don't have already an account with MongoDB, you should have one. Okay, you should have one. You can just go ahead and sign in or sign up if you don't already have an account with MongoDB. So since I already have an account, I'm not going to sign up. I will just simply say sign in here instead, because I already have an account. Okay, okay, so this is good. I'm just going to come here, click with Google. You can sign up with Google or with your GitHub. Okay, so in the last invoice management system, we tried to look at we navigated and we used Supabase. In the future videos, we might just use Planet Scale. There is Railway and any others you would just want. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to go and create a new project. Okay, just go here. You can see I have all these ones. I don't know if I'm still viable to create another one. I have so many projects, guys. Okay, okay, so here on this, they are not allowing me to create a new one. Okay, just going to create here a new project. Okay, so the project name, I'm just going to call it inventory. Okay, I'm just going to say inventory management. Okay, that is enough. Create. Right now they ask you to add permissions. I'm not going to add anyone. I'm just going to go ahead and create the project. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and create the project. Okay, so from then here you can just go ahead and create the database. So just click here, okay, on create. Okay, so make sure here when you're creating your cluster, make sure that you choose the free one. By default, it chooses this one, M10, which is 0.8 per hour. Please be careful while choosing this one. Just click on the free one and then click on create, and then they take me to the recaptcha. Just like this, and this will verify. Okay, so then they come here. This is a very important one. Okay, they give you the username and then they give you the password. Please copy the password safely. Copy the password. I'm just going to come here, down here, and I'm just going to paste this password here. Okay, then go back. Okay, and you can see this one was auto generated, and you can say create user, the username, leave whatever is there, and just click on create user. Okay, so after creating the user, now is adding the IP address. You can actually leave this IP address, or you can just simply add another one. Okay, you can just come here in the IP address, and I think it is 0.0.0.0 I think that is the one. Okay, add this. Okay, you can go ahead and add this one, and just simply create and finish. Click here, finish and close, just like that. On setting up access rules, go to overview. We are about to finish, guys. Okay, so now after this, you just simply click on connect. Okay, and they give you a lot of ways to connect if you are using campus locally, or if you're using drivers, of which you are going to do. So just click here on the drivers, and then you have their Node.js version, just leave the one that is there, and just go ahead and you can copy this string. Okay, just copy this string, it is here, copy, and just go ahead and replace it with the string that is here. Okay, just replace it with this one, and they show you where to insert the password. So just cut this password and simply insert it here. Okay, so now we successfully created the cluster. We have everything. I can close now this one. Okay, so that is great. You have configured, successfully configured MongoDB. Now to confirm that things are somehow working, we have to start doing something. Okay, so the first thing, after you have added that, let me go back here. So after you have added, and in this one, let me just come here before, I'm just going to write here. You can just go ahead, let me just write h2. You can just go ahead and get the database connection string. Okay, before you move it, and then you can just say update the .mv file with your db database URL. Okay, that will be fine. After you have done that, now we can go ahead and run this command. Okay, but before we run that, we can first create this, the global Prisma instance. Okay, we're just going to create this global Prisma instance. So this instance is that every time you are going to run, or you run Prisma, it is going to always generate a new Prisma client, and to avoid multiple instances to be initiated at once, we have to put this. This normally happens on when you are working on the development mode, but in production, this problem is not there. So simply go into your, you can see here, create a global Prisma instance, create a file in libs code db.js. Okay, so just going to go in the libs. Already we have the lib here, and create a new file in it. I'm just going to say it db.js and simply paste this code. And basically what this code is doing is first checking if there is any existing Prisma client. You can see global this is JavaScript global variable, and checks if in this global we have the Prisma instance. If it is there, then use it. If it is not there, then create a new Prisma client. Okay, and you're just only checking this if it is not in production. If it is production, then we want to use the new. Only this one is happening if the process.env is not equal to production. Okay, so with that, we have the Prisma working very well. What we're just going to do is run this npx Prisma generate. Okay, just go on the terminal and say npx Prisma generate, just like that. Npx Prisma generate, npx Prisma generate. Okay, they say environmental variables loaded. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you can see here they tell you that you can see const, they give you how to generate a new Prisma client. Okay, and this is what exactly we are doing from here, by the way. Okay, so now after being generated, we can use it in it here. Okay, and now we can push the models to the database by using npx Prisma db push. Okay, I'm just going to say npx Prisma db push, just like that. Okay, and the purpose of this one is to get all these schemas we have here, and it's going to push the schemas to the database. Let's see here. At cluster blah blah, the provided database string is invalid. An invalid argument was provided. Database must be defined in the connection string in the database URL. Please refer to the documentation blah 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 blah. Okay, that is very interesting. Let's check in the environmental variables. We have database URL, and this is how it is. Okay, and then we have here in the schema is saying database URL. I don't know why it is saying that. Okay, what would be the problem, guys? What would be the problem? Okay, let me just go ahead and run this one more time. Let's see here, environmental db push database data source db MongoDB database at cluster 0 blah blah.net. The provided database string is invalid. An invalid argument was provided. In some cases, certain characters must be escaped. Please check the string for the legal characters. Do we have any? Oh, okay. So wait a second. um, One thing though, I just remembered, I think we have to pass in the database name here. Yeah, so I think we have to pass in the name of the database. Okay, let's just go to the here and let me show you one thing. Here, add existing for start from scratch and for MongoDB. Let's just go ahead and see something, more especially on the string. Okay, so if you look at the string, you see that after this you have put test blah blah mongodb.net, there is slash my first database. Okay, there is this slash my database, and here let's put the name of our database. So here you can specify, let's say the name, we're just going to call it inventory DB. Just going to say inventory DB. Okay, this is the name I'm giving it. And let's save this and run again, see if that was the problem. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and clear this, and then let me just say just npx prisma db push again. Okay, yes, they say now MongoDB database. Okay, seems things are working out. Allow access. Okay, so that was the problem. Okay, so that was the problem, guys, and you can see here they tell you that everything was okay. They created a collection called the category, and your database indexes are now in thing. So if you just go back to our MongoDB and you can just click on database, you will see that now if you just go to browse collections, we now have a new collection called the category. So you say inventory DB, then category here. We have this category here, and we can start creating things in it. Okay, that is great, guys. We have successfully. So remember to add this. At least the error has happened when you are all seeing. So remember to specify your database. Sometimes when you copy the string, they don't actually tell you to add the database. Now sometimes they would create for us a database by default, but they didn't. So specify here the database name, just like that. Okay, that is great. We have now everything working. Now we could also let me go back here. We can run the studio. So the good thing with Prisma is that you don't have to visit every time this side of MongoDB. You can actually see everything in the browser. So I'm just going to run npx Prisma Studio. So you can just come here. I'm just going to add a third one, an interrupted one. I'm just going to run npx Prisma Studio, and this studio is going to connect us straight with the MongoDB. Okay, and this is going to be super great. Okay, that will be really super great. Instead of just coming this side, you can see they give us here the nice, and you can see all the models, and the only model we have is this category. And you can see here, okay, ID, title, description. Okay, so how do we now connect this to start creating our stuff? So let this one run, and now I'm going to close this, close the B, and close this one. Now I'm just going to go first. Let's show you the data, how it moves. Let me go back to the back office, inventory, and we are starting with categories, just like this. new, just go inside this. Okay, now you see all this data when you submit it from here. We have two things. We have the description, then we have the title. So when you submit the form here, this data is picked by the on submit, and we receive it here. On submit is receiving the data, and this is the data we are consorting, and at the same time we are sending this data to this endpoint, and you can check this endpoint here, base URL. You say await fetch base URL API categories. So when you just go to, so data moves from here, it goes to our API endpoint categories route. So the data will be received at this point in time, the title and the description. Okay, and to prove that, we are here consoling it, and I'm just going to do it again. When you go back to our app on the category, I'm just going to go to the console. Okay, and we can refresh, of course, to make sure everything no errors. So if I just try to add something here, category here, and I say sample category name, sample category. Okay, just like this, and then I add the description here, description here. Now if I click save category, you see here this one is come from page, but then we have also the response. Okay, so the response you can see is 200, and if I check on my if I check on this here, you will see that I have this console here, sample category and description, and this is coming from this console we have here. Okay, that is great. So since we are getting it here, we just want to save it in the database. So the steps of saving in the database, we are just going to come here. Instead of this, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so we're just going to use Prisma. So how do we use Prisma? So it's going to say await, and then we call the DB from libs, and this is to remind you what the DB is. In this is the new it is the one that gives us access to the Prisma client. So basically we are using this new, okay, and we are just saving it as DB. So this DB, I like calling it DB just to give you a sense that we are connecting to Prisma, or we are going to query. You could name this DB as Prisma, whatever you just want, but I'm naming it as Prisma, as DB dot. Now on this we can access our models, and the first one is the category. Okay, now the models are in capital letters, but when you're accessing it here, we access it in small letters. Then on this we can create a method, access a method called create. So on this method create, it takes in an object of data. Okay, so you can just say data. Okay, you can say data. It takes in the data, and the data it takes in here, the data it takes in here is this object. Okay, so you can simply give it exactly the way this is. Okay, you can just give the data exactly the way it is here. Okay, just like this. So data is title. Now when you have to do like this, in normal circumstances supposed to be like this. Let me show you. You're supposed to have it just like this. Title to title. What you're trying to say that if you look in the database here, where is our Prisma? I'm just going to bring this one close. So you see in a database we have columns ID, title, and description. So if your data that is coming here has the same columns as these ones, later you can remove them. we can just, so it's supposed to be like this under normal circumstance, just like this. The title here, column, you are matching it with this title. The description column, you are matching it with this description that is coming from the client. So if you have this scenario, description, title, you can actually remove this, and JavaScript supports that. You can remove this. As simple as that. You can simply remove them, and we know that the title will go on title and description will go on description. Okay, and that's it. We have to create this await db create, and we go access category and creates this. When it finishes, we want it to console the category, and to know that this one has worked, okay, let's just go and see the point of truth. I'm just going to minimize this a bit, and I'm just going to go back to this create, refresh, everything is okay. And let me just say the first category, I'm just going to name it as spanners, and then description, I can say this category will contain all spanner types, okay, e.g. spanner 19 and etc. Okay, just like that. Is say save category. Now saving category, please wait, and we have this one here. It is still rotating, meaning that it is trying to access the database. We have response back, which is 200, and I go in this and I check. Okay, compiled, everything like okay, and I have here, look at this, guys. Now look at what they give back. Now they give us back the console.log is giving us back the ID, the title, the spanners, and the description. Now if we go to our Prisma, and I'm just going to refresh this, you can just click on this, refresh, and this now is going to show us, and you can see it is getting this from the database. And to confirm that, we can go this side, and we can also refresh here, refresh. Okay, and we are refreshing category. We have one document. Okay, we can just go ahead and create the second one. Okay, we can just say tires. Okay, and then we can just say this one, this will consist of all tires. Okay, save category, and saved. Okay, and this is great. Okay, so what we are missing right now is the notification. When this is created, we want a notification to be announced, like a new category has been created. Okay, yeah, so that's what we want, a new category to be created. That's what we want. I want to add the toast notifications, and to add the toast notifications, and by the way, to show you that they are now two, we have to refresh here, and you can see now we have tires. So I'm just going to go on a new tab and say React Hot Toast. Okay, just click on go to reacthottoast.com, and we just want something like this. Okay, here is your toast. So to first of all, we can first install it, and I think the installation must be here. So it is this npm install React Hot Toast. Okay, I'm just going to install it in a second. This middle one. So just say npm install React Hot Toast. Okay, npm install React Hot Toast. This is for notifications, okay, or for the toasts. And as it is installing, we just need to get the configuration. First of all, we want this to be the top right, like there, and you could just even leave it in the center, just like so. Actually, just let me just leave it in the center. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it in the center. You can also put in the bottom or the bottom right, anywhere you want. Let's leave it in the top center. Now the only thing you just need to do is add this. So just copy this here, copy that to go to layout. Okay, just go to this layout in the app layout. Where is layout, guys? Layout here, and in this layout here, just simply go ahead and just going to scroll like this. So here where we have children, inside here, okay, just like so, and just going to go here and you can add this toast, and you can import this from the React hot toast. Okay, that's it. That's the only thing you need to do. Then now you can use toast.success. So I'm also going to copy this toast.success. Okay, toast.success. So we go to categories. So in the back office, dashboard, inventory, categories, new, and here. Okay, and I feel like you would have created a function, this on submit function, that is global. I feel like that one would have worked for me, because if you think about it, all of them, they are receiving exactly the same thing. They have all this part here is the same thing. We could have this function in the libs, like the function that is doing this, the try catch block. You know, I don't know if that is a good idea. I will see, because you see the response could take in the route, the route, so that we don't have to add the notification in everything. We could now have this. And by the way, the reset, we have to also use the reset. I don't know if we're using it right now. Yeah, we are using reset here. Let me think about this. So here I want to add the notification, the toast. After the setting, the loading, everything is okay. You can just go ahead and add the toast, and this toast you can get it from the also the React hot toast. Make sure you import it on top here. So I'm still thinking of this. I'm still thinking on this try catch block. Okay, like this function is done everywhere. Literally is done on all the forms we have. They're using this same architecture. So that means that we have the base URL, which is the same everywhere, and then the only thing that is changing here is this API. And if we wanted to add some data, we also just punch this data before this function. We simply give it the data. Everything we're doing, we just add it on the data, and then we punch in this one. Let's try to we can just call it what function. Maybe I'm just going to Anyway, for now, let's first leave it just like this. Okay, we see how we just in the future maybe we refactor this. Okay, and now we have the base, we have everything working. So what we want is to toast success and say uh, here we could just say, for instance, created successfully category, created successfully. Okay, successfully. Okay, so this is great. So let's just go and test it. I'm just going to add another one. Okay, let's make sure we don't have any errors. Okay, so I'm just going to add electronics. Okay, so this will contain all electronics. Okay, just save category. Okay, saving category, please wait. Okay, so category created successfully. This is great. Okay, so that one is done. We have the notifications done. As I've said, I'm still rethinking about this because now we could also have even this reusable everywhere. Okay, but never mind. Let's move on. So the category has the category is done. We are having everything we want from the category. If you wanted to see the category that you are getting back, you could still get it, and you could just use it in the response wherever. If you wanted, for instance, electronic, if I wanted to say, for instance, electronic category created successfully, you can also still do it. Okay, we can just go, but right now we can just leave it at that. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and for now stop this console of response. Avoid leaving a lot of stuff here. So this model is done. Let's move to the next one. I'm just going to be doing the simple ones. Okay, so you just go ahead and add for the simple ones like brands, units, warehouse, and adjustments. Okay, so if you scroll down here, I will have all these models for these small ones. Okay, and we're going to adjust them in a second. Okay, so let me just go ahead and copy all these ones. Just move slowly onto this warehouse. So copy these ones and let's go to our schema. Okay, go to the schema and just add down these ones, and let's remove the category again because we already have it. Okay, and let's go and replace our ID. So let's make sure the ID is just like this. Okay, copy these IDs, replace with these IDs we have here. Okay, to take off these errors, the IDs are of type string. Okay, just take it even here. Okay, so we have no errors. So let's start with the unit. What do we have in the unit? To make sure everything we have it. Okay, just start with the unit. If you go to add unit here, to add a unit has two things, has the title and the abbreviation. Okay, so just a unit, it has the title, so change this to title, and then it has the abbreviation and there is no default. Okay, so we have these ones. Okay, let's go to the brand, and they are all required. If you submit, you see they are all required. let's go to the brand. The brand, we have only the title. Okay, so to the brand we have only the title. Just name these to title. Okay, let's go to the warehouse. So warehouse, go back to the warehouse here. So what do we have on the warehouse? We have the select the warehouse type. So we have the type, which is a string. Warehouse type, which is a string, it is there. We have the title, which is this one supposed to be the title. Okay, and then we have the location, and we have the location and then description. And these ones, they can be not required, they can be optional, and this is how you do optional, as simple as this. So we have added 3 models. Okay, we could just go ahead and add for the adjustment. So in the adjustment we have 2 of them. Let me just go like this, maybe where we have 2. Okay, so I have this here on the adjustments. Okay, so the adjustments, we have the add stock and then we have transfer stock. So these have to be 2 models. You can see they can't be the same model. We have to have the add stock model and the transfer stock model. Okay, we have to have these two models. We cannot have it as one model because they are saving into different databases. So we're just going to add this one, like increment. Maybe we can just say add stock, maybe add stock adjustment. Okay, we have to create here the add adjustment, or we could just call this maybe what, add stock adjustment, and then we have the transfer stock adjustment. Yeah, I think we can just name them like that. If you have the beta name, you can name them. I'm just going to duplicate the warehouse and I'm just going to say add stock. Okay, adjustment. Okay, it is add stock, and then there's another one which is transfer stock. So let's first see what it has. First of all, it has the warehouse ID, so it is depending on the warehouse, and this is going to create relationships. In fact, let's first leave this one that has relationships. We are going to see these ones in a second. Okay, so now what I want to do is to work on these other ones that we have worked on, these ones. Okay, so now what do we do? So the first thing, the good thing that you should do is to stop the application. And I'm telling you this because of some experience. So what you could just do is stop the application. Okay, that is by Ctrl+C. Okay, then you can just go here on this. You can also stop this Prisma Studio. Just stop it. Okay, so after stopping all these ones, you can run now. First of all, npx. Okay, you can now write npx Prisma generate. Okay, you can run this npx Prisma generate. Okay, every time you change any changes in your schema, stop all the servers, run npx prisma generate, and this one will generate a new Prisma client based on these new models you have. The new models you have added, now they have been added to the Prisma client. So when that one is done, and now we can again start run npx Prisma db push, and this is to add all these ones in our database. I want to push all these into our database, and it is going to try to do so. Okay, you can see it has added all these collections. Okay, it has added the unit, brand, and the warehouse. Okay, and that is great. So now I can now go ahead run now I can go ahead and run the Prisma Studio, because all these ones I've just done, and I can go back. I also run npm run dev. Okay, so you run those two commands. First stop the server, run npx prisma generate, and that is to generate the new. You can just bring this here. And when you run npx generate is to create a new Prisma client based on the models that are currently in your Prisma schema. Okay, just going to close one. Okay, so right now if I add on plus, you see I have all these models. So I can, for instance, the brand, I can just go into brand. We have nothing, and wherever you see it in the Prisma Studio, meaning even this side, we have them. If I go ahead and I refresh, you'll see that we have now all these schemas, all these collections are popping up. Okay, that's great. So I'm just going to go to the brand now. So the only thing on the brand that is very easy, I'm going to go to this route. Okay, so the only thing you have to change is this. So copy this, and I'm just going to go to brands route, where I have this const brand, just this, say brand, and then here is db.brand, and you can get this db, import it. Now it is create, and it takes in only the title. As simple as that. It takes in only the title, and we should be able to get the stuff here done. And let's go to the brand. The form of the brand is in dashboard, inventory, brand, new brand. Okay, so now we can just have all brands. So I'm just going to come here in this where we have brands. I'm just going to add the toast. So I'm just going to say here toast, and get this toast from React toast dot success, of course, dot success, and you can say brand, new brand. You could just say new brand created successfully, new brand created successfully. Okay. Just put a smiling face. Okay, so now let's just go and see. Simple as that. We should be able to create a brand. So click on brands, a new brand. Okay, let me just refresh first of all to make sure there is no any errors we have in the app so far. And in the next episode we might work on the responsive of these things. we just want to make this whole thing to be responsive. We'll come and work on that, I think, in the coming episode. Right now we just want to make sure we have all these creating happening in the database. That would be great. So let's create not the item, let's create the brand. Okay, so I'm just going to type in Suzuki, just create save brand, saving brand, and you can see it here, Suzuki. Okay, new brand created successfully, and we can check here. Just come and refresh this. Yeah, so the new brand Suzuki has been created in the DB. One thing I've just noticed is that this button, the second button, it is so near. Let's go and give the same in this components from input submit button. This other second button, let's look at this. This is the submit. I think it has a margin top. Yeah, it has a margin top of 4. Let's add it also onto this other one, this one here. Let's give it a margin top of 4. Okay, you notice it is not having enough space. Let's add it a margin top of 4 so that it is also spaced, has some space. Let's just add another one, Toyota. I think we can just add Toyota. Okay, just like that, and just save brand, and you can see now the button is okay. So new brand created successfully. You can just come here to the DB, refresh, and a new brand Toyota is there. So the brands, that's a nice, that's good enough. Let's go to the next. So we have categories, brands. Now let's go to units. Okay, so the units here, we have the title and the abbreviation. Okay, that is nice. Okay, title and abbreviation. Okay, let's go to the title first. Let's go to the form. Brands, we have the units now, route. Before that, let's first go to the back office inventory. Let's go to units. Okay, here I'm just going to add a toast. Okay, toast and dot success, and you can just see here, new unit created successfully. Okay, created successfully, just like that. Okay, and now we send this data. We are sending the title. Let's see, we are sending the title and we are sending the abbreviation. Okay, so we could just first go and go in there. Let's go in there. Where can we go? In the API. Okay, and I'm just going to go in this brands. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, go in the units. Okay, so in the units we are receiving the title and the abbreviation, and I can just say const unit. So here is going to be unit. Okay, and by the way, make sure that whatever you are putting is the small case. Whatever you put here is the small case of what is in the schema. If you have in the schema, for instance, units, you can see here we have these as singulars. Unit, you can see category, so it's always just the singular. Okay, and then this side we access them using the small letters. Okay, so I'm just going to go inside. Sorry for that. I'm just going to go inside the route. We are done with brands. We now done with categories. Into the units, it has to be const unit is await db.unit.create, and we are creating the title plus the abbreviation. Okay, just like that, and it should now be working. You can refresh, and let's add the title kilogram. Okay, kilogram, and here we add kg. Save unit. Okay, kg, and for the first time we have the internal server, and this is because we did not import the db. So bring in the db please, and let me refresh. And for this purpose here, we are supposed to have this also handled. Okay, in the response down here, we have to have this you can see sometimes like this instances internal server error. You have this keep on rotating. You can just do that. We can capture this error on the UI, but right now I'm not going to do that. Let's first work on finishing it. Just going to type again kilogram and say kg. Okay, save. Okay, let's see now. Okay, new unit created successfully. Let's create pieces. Pieces is pieces, so here you say pieces, and here you say pieces, and let's create save. Okay, so you have also the units being created, and you can go ahead and check it here. You can add unit, and you can see that we have two units, kilogram and pieces. Okay, now let's go to the not the site. We are just going on to the warehouse. Okay, just going to the warehouse, and then here we have this stuff here where we have the main and the branch. This is okay. So let's create the main branch. Warehouse title, I just say spare motors. Why not? Spare motors. And warehouse location, we can just say it is in Nakawa. Okay, you can just put here Nakawa, and the description. This is our first main warehouse. Okay, so we can just have this and they just first confirm in the warehouse. Just go to the warehouse, and new warehouse here, and you can see that the values should be in small letters to purposes in future when we are querying the database. Okay, that is great. Then we can also add the toast. We can add the toast here, saying warehouse toast, and we could just say dot success, and we can just say new warehouse created successfully. Okay, and let's go to the API. So you can copy whatever is in the categories. I'm just going to copy this, and let me go to the warehouse. Route, and I'm just going to replace it with here. So here is going to be warehouse. It takes in, let's see what it takes in: the title, location. Okay, it takes in the type. Now you have to be careful with what you are putting here. So you can see, for instance, here we are sending it as a type, and if you check in the schema, if I'm not mistaken, you have warehouse type. You see this? So this is where the confusion can come from. You must make sure you're matching this one. So I'm just going to copy this to show you what changes. For instance, instead of the type, here we put warehouse type and as type. And this is what I was saying. The first one is always the column in the database, and then this one is the data that is coming in. Okay, description. I think that are the 4 things. Let's first check. We have the type, the therefore, and the description. Yeah, so everything is okay. We can create, and don't forget to import the DB here. Okay, so that is great. So I'm just going to go here. I can refresh, and I'm just going to create again the main warehouse. I'm just going to say here, I'm just going to say spare motors. Location, I'm just going to say Nakawa. Description, I'm just going to say this is my first main warehouse. Okay, and you can save. So you can just click save here, and we're saving warehouse. New warehouse created successfully. We can create now a branch. Okay, the title, warehouse title can be spare motors, maybe spare motors, let's say Mbarara. So like this is the Mbarara branch, and the location we can see it is located in Mbarara. And the description, this is the branch of spare motors that is located in that space. Okay, so you can just click on save warehouse. So you just click save. Okay, and that's great. So we have also saved, and you can just go ahead and we can check the warehouse, and we have 2 warehouses, spare motors and the spare motors Mbarara, and you can see the location are different, and the warehouse type, we have the main, and others is a branch. So you're getting all the data the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so now before we go on the big one, I just want to show you now how we are going to create the relationships. Okay, I don't know where I can. This is not the one. Here, sorry. Just want to show you. Okay, I just want to show you something here. Okay, so let's say we have in the like this model for the item. I think we decided use this one for the as an example. Okay, so let's say in this item it belongs somewhere. I'm just going to zoom in very well so that I can show you. So if you look into this model like this, the item, it has the title, description, and now it has the category. So it has the category, and that means we have to choose where does it for whatever you are going to call the item, where does it for. And you can see it takes in these two things. The first one, it takes in the category ID. Okay, it takes in the category ID. Okay, and then it takes in the category itself. Okay, it takes in the category itself and then the category ID. Okay, and now this category is for giving us the relationship between this item and this category. For instance, we say at relation, and we say that this category ID you are seeing here is references the ID in the, if you just scroll this side, it references the ID in this references the ID in the category model. Okay, this is what it means. Okay, to understand this, let's first create the adjustments. Maybe we can just pick some concepts there. So I'm just going to go to our schema, and this time I'm just going to add more things. Okay, first of all, let's add this adjustment things like this. So we have this adjustment, add stock adjustment. It has the ID, it has the title, it has the location, description, and it has the warehouse. And let's first check, by the way, in the adjustment, that is not the adjustment, what it has. Let's go to inventory, adjustment, and down here you can just add adjustment. So we have this add stock. It has the, first of all, the quantity of stock. And what did we call this one? Let me first open the API adjustments add. The first one, we have this add stock quantity. So I'm just going to add this to the schema. So I have the add stock quantity, and this one is supposed to be a number. Okay, so you can just say here, name it as, I think you say float. Okay, and this is not optional, so just add float. Okay, then moving on, we have this select the warehouse that will receive the stock. So we have the warehouse ID, so I'm just going to do this in a second, and it has also the notes. Okay, so has the adjustment notes. So let's first make sure we have the notes, just say here notes. Okay, and then here instead of the warehouse we have the title. Do we need, like, for the adjustment to have a title? Does it really necessary, like, add a title for this? The name of this adjustment, I don't think so. Let me first think. Enter quantity of stock to add. the adjustment, does it need to have a title? Let me just first say this. If they have the adjustment, let's first look at the actual Zoho. If they have the adjustment, what would they put in the adjustment if they have the adjustment? Invent adjustment. Okay, they have here new. So they have the here you can see they have reference number. They have also the date, which looks like to be really useful. Okay, we don't have the, then there is reason. Okay, and there is description. Okay, that is that looks good, but there is no anything like, so the only thing is okay, so if then they have the here the mode of adjustment. Okay, value adjustment, quantity adjustment. Okay, but I think this reference number is important. Okay, yeah, we can also have the reference number. Okay, which can be a string. Okay, which can be a string. Okay, that is okay. Okay, and then we have the date, which also looks ready to be okay. We need now the date stuff. I think we should just add these two. I'm just going to add the reference number. Just go to the adjustment. Let's go to adjustment in the back office, inventory adjustments, new here. So of course we have two forms, the add and the transfer. Then just going to see in this add here, let's add some things. For instance, the reference number. Okay, just like this. Just going to add here reference number, type number. Just going to say here reference number. Okay, reference, and this one can be small r, reference number, and then the name is okay. The here just going to add reference number on the label, but then here is going to be reference number. Okay, so they have the reference number. Okay, and this one can just make it finish the whole, I don't know. I just going to add it with date. So just look at the date. Go back here. I'm just going to quickly look at the date. So just type here date. Okay. Do we need really the date picker? I don't think so. We just need just data type date, I guess, because this is extensive and this one requires JavaScript to work, I guess, and we don't have that. I just need a simple input date. Can I have date? So they don't have any date, but you can just change type date, and we see if we change type date. I'm just going to be curious here. just going to put this and just put type date, okay, and then here they named it the date. Did they name it like the date? Just like that. Okay, just type date, and here also I just say here date, and here we also just create date. Of course, there is also timestamps. The timestamps, I guess they are created because I'm supposed to have. Oh, I did not add the timestamps. That's too bad. We are supposed to add on all of them. I'm just going to add on all of them timestamps. Okay. So, but we can also just have this, since actually we don't need the date. Okay, because we can just have the created art on the timestamps, so we can use that. So I'm just going to remove the date. We don't need it actually, and since that is not needed, this one has to take a full column. Let's see how this looks like, and you have to do the same thing on this other one. Okay, I'm just going to go and add this, the reference number, onto the transfer. Okay, the transfer, let's just also add the reference number here. Okay, that's good. So you have the also this side the reference number. Okay, so now this reference number we could set. We can give it a default value. I think if we just went to the text input, let's go to the text input. Let me just show you something. Text input, I think you can pass in a default value. So if we just say, for instance, here, and you said default value, and let me just say like some text here like that. Let's see what happens. Okay. I thought like the value would come here if wanted to give the default value of this. And I think we could check in the documentation of React hook forms. I'm just going to check in React hook forms, and you could check we check how you give the default value. I think you can give it a default, some default values. Let's see if there's anyone they have used it. Okay, so you can see here they have default value like test. Okay, they have default value on the input. We just give the default value like test. Okay, I think it works. I don't know. Just give the on the input, let's give the default value, and is going to be default value here. So I'm just going to create here also default value, like this exact one, default value, and here I'm just going to pass in like default value is equal to empty string by default. So if I just come here and I add on the transfer and then this add, I just want to come on this reference number and I give it a default value of like some this number here. Okay, I just want to refresh. Okay, it is not there, but I want to submit submitting this thing. I want to see what is going to happen like on this default. First of all, reference number is required. Okay, and this reference number, I want it to be auto-generated. Okay, for now we're just going to be entering the reference number by themselves, but we just look forward to make it auto. I think we'll just work on that later on. Okay, so we have the reference number, we have that data. Let's make sure we send this data. For now, I'm just going to remove this. So first remove it. Okay, let's make sure this data is being received this end. Okay, so we have this reference number, and go to the API adjustments add. Let's start with the add. It has receiving notes, and it has also now the reference number. So let's make sure that the things that are here are the ones that are matching inside the schema. Okay, just simply go to the schema. So we don't need the title, we have seen that. So just have add stock, receiving, and then notes and reference number. So we have notes, we can have this one as reference number, and it can also be a string. Okay, the reference number is going to be a string. Then we have this warehouse ID. So we have this one, receiving warehouse ID. So you have to come and we put this one. Okay, this receiving warehouse ID, and it is a string, but where does it come from? Okay, where does this come from? So now this one, receiving warehouse ID, is going to be for the related to the warehouse, because it is going to be picking the warehouse. So what we're just going to do is here we come and say that it is going to have an adjustment, can have many warehouses. So we can just have here warehouse, and this is going to be of type warehouse, just like that. Okay, and then we just go ahead and define a relationship. So you say at relation, and then in this relation, what you are saying is you are defining the fields, and you are saying this receiving warehouse ID, and normally this receiving warehouse ID, you could name it as warehouse ID, as simple as that. But actually, just name it as warehouse ID. We don't need to complicate this. Just say warehouse ID. Okay, and then you could just say at fields warehouse ID, this one here, and then you put space, references, the ID, and this ID you put here is actually of the type this warehouse. I don't know if there is comma here, really. Let's first see. This line is not valid field or attribute definition. Okay, I think here there must be an array, sign of an array, just like that. Let me just copy from this. I'm just going to simply copy this, copy, and I'm just going to simply put it here to replace with this. Okay. Okay, and now I'm just going to say this one and this one is warehouse. Okay, that's not what I intended. I'm just going to first change this one to warehouse, capital warehouse. I think that's the one I've done. And then this is warehouse. And then this one is supposed to be warehouse ID, just like that. And this one is of type string, is I think supposed to be type string, and then it's supposed to have this at db, I think at db dot object id, and then now this one is gone, the error. Now we have this one, warehouse in the model add is the relation warehouse on model add stock is okay, saying that warehouse in the model add stock, the relation field warehouse on model add is missing an opposite relation field on model warehouse, either on Prisma format or add it manually. Really, you can run that Prisma format. That would be really nice. I'll just see it in a second. So you're supposed to have the opposite. So I mean is that warehouse can contain adjustments. That's what it means. A warehouse can contain an adjustment. If we are just going to have an adjustment containing this, yeah, so I think that's what they mean. So we could just come here, and in the warehouse you add, for instance, this add stock adjustments. Okay, add, just come here and see, you could add stock adjustments. And by the way, before I add it, I'm very curious about what they said. Let's first see Prisma format. So if I just say npx Prisma format, just a second to test this. I'm so much curious of what would it do. Npx Prisma format, just like that. Okay, let's see what errors it would bring us. And this is my first time to see this command, just like, I don't know, but for some reason it is not yet running. Let's just wait for a second and we see what it will do. Okay, that is taking much long time. Okay, something happened. Okay, so let's first see what it says here. Schema formatted, and it did format. Let's see. Okay, first of all, we have this object ID. We had the one who added this. The warehouse at relation fields warehouse. This one we're the one who added. Now when we go to this side, we have an adjustment, add stock adjustment of this type. Great, so it added this for us. Okay, so that means we can add only one side and then it adds the other side. So what I don't know is you simply add like this one, it adds for you these other ones. We just discover that. So in the second one, I'm just going to so we have this add stock adjustment. I'm just going to create another model. Okay. Of course, this one was transfer stock. Okay, transfer. Okay, we have transfer stock adjustment. Okay. Okay, so now it's going to have the same ID, reference number. Let's go to the it also has the warehouse, by the way. Okay, let's check on what they have. I think here they have the only transfer stock. That's why they change. The only thing these ones they have is the transfer stock. This one, transfer stock, and this one we change these ones to warehouse, by the way. Warehouse ID. Warehouse ID, and even the other one is going to be the warehouse ID in the add stock. Let me just go to this. This one is going to be warehouse, so you just see warehouse ID, warehouse ID. Okay, so this is good. Warehouse ID. So now what we just want to reference number is the same. Add stock is float. This is going to change from add stock to transfer stock. Okay, I'm just going to add this to transfer stock, and this is also float. Then we have some notes. We have then warehouse. So we only just need to add in this. We simply duplicate this. Okay, and then we simply just add transfer stock, as simple as that. Okay, they're saying this. Okay, that warehouse ambiguous selection detected. The feeds adjustment and transfer stock in the model house both refer to adjustment stock. They both refer to the adjustment stock. Oh, okay, here. Okay. Okay, so this yeah, this is now done. We have this now. Let's make sure in the models this one is reflected. So in the API transfer, let's make sure we have these same things. Let me first go to this, get these things here, and then in the transfer we're just going to have this. We have the add stock, reference notes, and then this. Now this one is actually just warehouse ID, warehouse ID. Even this one is warehouse ID, as simple as that. Okay, so okay, let's start with the add. We can first leave the transfer. Let's first make sure we have all this add stock. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4. We have the, let me remove this. let's only be on the add, and then we have the adjustment, which is going to take in, which is going to be await db dot. Now this one is what we call the adjustment we want to do. So this one is the add stock. So you can just first go to the schema and copy this. Okay, so I don't know if this becomes this, all of them small letters, add stock. Okay, first of all, let's stop the server, run the migrate. We see that. So I'm just going to stop the server here. Okay, and by the way, just want to add for the, before we migrate, I'm just going to also add for the items so that we do this at once. So I'm just going to copy this and we adjust it. The one for the model item, I'm just going to copy that, go to the schema, and on top here I'm just going to add the item. Okay, just want it to be number 1 on top there. Okay, and this is going to be an image and should be just a string, not an array of strings. And this one actually is image URL to be specific. Okay, so we have all these ambiguous stuff. First of all, let's replace the ID. So go to the ID, let's replace it with the actual ID, just like that. And then we have this category. Okay, we have the category at relations, field category ID, references to ID, and then this one is going to be string. So you can just copy this. Where is the string? Use it. I just want to copy this here. Just copy this string at db object ID. Okay, just go up wherever there is this int, replace it with that. Unit ID, replace it with that. Quantity is int. Okay, quantity we can leave it as int. Okay, category ID is, replace it as this. And by the way, even this this reference number, we have stock quantity. This one is an integer. We can just leave it as integer. Even in this one, let's modify this to be an integer. Okay, and then let's go back to our errors, and if we just we can just run Prisma format now. Just run Prisma format. Okay, we can just add one site and then we run Prisma format. So it just goes on the category, it adds the respective stuff. Okay, so what it did is, if it sees this relationship, it went to the category and added item. So a category can have a lot of items. That's what this means, that a category has many items. That's the relationship. The same thing if you go to the unit. So you have the unit. Where is the unit? So you see here we have unit relation, unit ID, and then this is unit. Okay, if you just go to the unit, you see we add item, so the unit can has many items. Okay, then next is the brand ID. So you can see we have the brand ID here and the brand. Okay, brand and brand ID. If we go the same thing to the brand, we have added the has many items. Okay, and let's now see what we have here. We have ID. This one is title. We have description. We have the category, SKU, barcode, quantity, unit, brand. Now we have the unit price and this one. So these ones we call them the selling price and the buying price. So you can just change this to selling price, for instance, and then this one we named as buying price. Okay, then they have supplier, which is supposed to be also a relationship. Okay, we are just going to create a supplier. Okay, we have to create a supplier. I don't know if I have the model for the supplier. Not yet. I don't have the supplier. We'll create the supplier later, but right now let's leave it as a string, just like that. We'll have to add this. Then we have reorder point here, reorder, and then this is supposed to be, I think, capital reorder point. Okay, then we have image URL, dimensions, string, tax rate is a float. Tax rate is a float. Yeah, a tax rate can be a float. Then we have notes. Okay, so we have no errors right now. Everything looks fine. Okay, everything looks fine. Okay, so I'm just going to run. So after making sure that everything is not running, let's go ahead and run npx Prisma generate. So this is to generate a new Prisma client that has the new models. Okay, and then we can just run npx Prisma db push, and this one is to push all these collections. So we want to push all these collections into the database. So you'll see here they will tell us that they have created the new collections. Okay, so you can see added the collections, and they went ahead and added all those collections. So if you now go ahead and run the npx Prisma Studio, npx Prisma Studio, just like that, and let's also just go and run back our server. Okay, so we have all these ones, and okay, so we have this here. Just bring this one here, and I can close this. Okay, so if you just click on add new record, you see we have all these models now. Okay, we have the transfer stock, unit, warehouse, item. We have all these new ones. Okay, so now the first thing is what is the first thing I want to do is creating these adjustments now. For instance, we have been selecting this warehouse, and we have been selecting them by the ones we have here. So you have to fetch. Okay, we have to fetch all those ones. I think what we just do is we do it in the next episode, because I can see this one is taking a lot of hours. I think we can start fetching and working on to this, the item model and the all these other models, fetching data and populating it, because for instance we have to populate this here from the database, and the same thing for the transfer, we have to populate this. And even when you go to the item, okay, so when you go to the item, I don't know why it is not going there. Let me refresh. Oh, actually the system was rebooting. I had forgotten that we rebooted the server here. Okay, so I think everything right now is okay. We can just go to items here. So if you just look at the items, like for instance when we come here to select unit, these units are supposed to come from the DB. These ones here supposed to come from the database. Even these categories, even these brands, okay, the suppliers, we have to create also the supplier model, and even the warehouse, all these ones are supposed to come from the the database. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this episode, and to those ones who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much. I will see you in the next episode.